Naruto gazed at the Hokage, and the Hokage stared back. Neither blinked or moved their stare. After 5 minutes, the watchers began to wonder what they were doing with their stare down. Finally, the Hokage blinked. He huffed. Fine, you win. I'll give you a C rank. Just like that, Sakura yelled in disbelief. You did beat me in a staring contest, the Hokage said as if that answered everything. Most sweat dropped. Sarutobi held out a scroll, and Kakashi took it. Your job will be to escort a bridge builder to Wave, and protect him from bandits as he finishes his bridge. They nodded, and the Hokage nodded to a guard who let a man in. Said man looked at them. I pay good money, and I get a bunch of 15-year-old kids, he scowled. An emo boy with a funny hairstyle, a girl with pink hair and a huge forehead, and a wild-looking kid. Naruto gave him a flat stare and moved to the window, hopping onto the sill. Meet at the gate in 2 hours, Naruto, Kakashi said absently as he held Sakura back from murdering the old man. Naruto gave a courteous nod before he was gone. Naruto watched as Sasuke dealt with the one brother with a few flashy flips. The second leapt for him, and before anyone could so much as gasp, he had summoned his spear from the tattoo band around his arm. It slid into his hand quickly and sliced through the air. A moment later, the brother's head was on the ground 10 feet from his body. Tazuna rushed to the bush and threw up as the blood splattered everywhere. Sakura looked a bit green also. Sasuke was even staring. Kakashi reappeared in front of the last brother who was staring at his brother's corpse in a numbing silence. Good job, Naruto. The others seemed shocked he had congratulated Naruto, but that was the way of the shinobi. Assassination. He dragged the other brother off to interrogate, and Naruto knew when he returned, the second would be dead. Naruto watched the fight with calm eyes. He could see the two were evenly matched, almost perfectly evenly matched. The others thought Zabuza was a demon for how cruel he acted, and the kills on his name, but they don't realize Kakashi could be just as cruel, and have even more kills on his name. Sometimes being naive was a wonderful feeling, like looking through rose-colored glass, seeing the world just as you wanted it, seeing it in black and white, seeing yourself on the good side. He watched them silently cheer Kakashi on and gave a loathing smirk. Of course they wanted Kakashi to win. He was the good guy, Zabuza was evil, so innocent. Naruto, for a brief second, thought about helping Zabuza win, just to show the world didn't work the way they wanted it to. But then he discarded the idea. He may not be loyal to Konoha, but he was loyal to the old man. So as Kakashi was trapped, he stepped forwards. At the same time, Sasuke and Sakura looked unsure of fighting or running. As Naruto stepped forwards, though, Sasuke shook his head and launched at Zabuza, hands flying through signs. A fireball leapt from his mouth. Zabuza just laughed, using one hand sign to make a small water wall that cancelled out the fire. Sasuke frowned. A moment later, a water clone had thrown him back. He hit the ground hard. Losing his air, Naruto looked at the gasping boy blankly, then turned to Zabuza. Kakashi had quieted as he met his eyes. Naruto stepped forward, softly moving at an even pace till he reached the edge of the water. Zabuza looked at Kakashi as he hadn't yelled at Naruto to run, like he had when Sasuke attacked. Not going to tell a kid to run like the other, the man snorted. Looks like he doesn't care if you die as much as he does the other kid. Naruto ignored the words, knowing the real reason Kakashi had shut up. He knew Naruto could do something. Naruto slid the sleeve of his coat up, showing his left tattooed arm. Zabuza paused to stare for a moment. Naruto bit his finger, and followed the small symbols with his eyes. When he reached the one he wanted, he smeared blood on it, mentally counting how many he wanted. A puff of smoke, 5 huge fish appeared in the air, dropping into the lake. They were each as big as a sheep, and had huge, sharp teeth. They looked like giant piranhas. Everyone stared at them for a moment. Kill him, Naruto said simply. They were gone under the water a second later. Zabuza snarled, watching the water patiently. A moment later they leapt out of the water at him. He snarled and pulled his arm from the water prison, leaping back. Kakashi hit the water and was immediately sucked under. He struggled to get out and found himself losing strength quickly. He was trying to reserve his strength and chakra to fight Zabuza, but it wasn't helping now. Suddenly, something hit his back and jerked him. Something had hooked onto his thick vest and was pulling him back, not too gently. For a moment, his blood ran cold. Naruto had only said, "Kill him," but who had he been referring to? He struggled for a moment as he was jerkily dragged through the water. What if one of those fish had come for him and his thick vest was all that had stopped it? Suddenly something grabbed his collar and he was dragged upwards. He gasped for breath as he breached the surface and was dragged onto land. Naruto stared down at him blankly. The fish that had dragged Kakashi along swam off towards the other fish Zabuza was fighting. Three seemed to have dismissed themselves already before being killed. Zabuza wasn't unscathed though. His one leg was bleeding heavily along with his left arm and his side. Kakashi coughed up some water and tried to move away from Naruto slightly. He still couldn't figure the boy out. He didn't seem to be loyal to the village but fought for it, so he was loyal to someone inside. Kakashi was betting the Hokage, but that still might not stop Naruto from turning on them in an instant. Zabuza snarled and swung at a fish. The thing vanished in a puff of smoke just as his sword came within an inch of killing it. They were summons, but he hadn't heard of a fish summoning. He looked up at the enemy as the last fish vanished. He had seen Kakashi struggle violently against the fish as if he thought his own teammate would sick them on him. Even now, as he lay on the ground at the blonde's feet, he was trying to shift away. The boy. Kakashi was afraid of him in his weakened state, or at least wary. It said the boy wasn't completely loyal to his village or despised Kakashi. Zabuza didn't know if this was good or bad. He watched cautiously as Kakashi dragged himself to his knees. The blonde was definitely a wild card. Suddenly the boy was only a few feet away, fist raised. Zabuza's eyes widened at his speed. The fist collided with his chest a moment later and he was blown back by a vicious force. He could feel the wind slice through his skin and his eyes widened. The boy had a wind affinity, not good. He grit his teeth as he hit a tree hard. He could barely stand. Just as he saw the boy about to move, there was a sharp pain in his neck, and he collapsed into darkness. Naruto set Kakashi on the futon laid out for him and covered him with a blanket. He suffered from chakra depletion. Naruto left him and returned to the living room downstairs. He sat on the table next to Tazuna and thanked Tsunami as she handed him a bowl of rice. He was just about to take a bite when the door to the house swung open immediately. Sakura, Sasuke, and he had kunai in their hands. Naruto put his kunai away as he saw a panting Kimimaro in the doorway. The white-haired boy quickly stepped over to Naruto and bowed. The Hokage got Kakashi's message that you were attacked by the Demon Brothers, and I came straight away, Lord Naruto. Naruto gave a small nod. Sit, please, Kimimaro. The Kaguya sat down beside Naruto. This is Kimimaro, Naruto introduced. Kimimaro, this is Tazuna, our client, his daughter Tsunami, and his grandson Inari, as well as my team. Kimimaro bowed his head in greeting. Naruto noticed he was short of breath and he knew he had come as fast as he could. A good 2 days run. Naruto silently handed over his bowl of rice to the teen. Lord Naruto, eat, then rest. Kakashi is sleeping and it is late, so there's nothing we can do. Kimimaro nodded. Naruto just sighed inaudibly and ignored the glances that was coming their way.